Absolutely. And unfortunately, this is a major mistake for the United States government that's going to come up with major consequences as a result because Turkey has a government that is democratically elected. Turkey has its own laws and constitution. Turkey has its own court system and judiciary process. And they have been actually moving this case along through its judiciary process. So for the United States to come and place this kind of unreasonable demand, okay, and say, we want you to bypass your judiciary process and extradite this man, send him back, send him free, despite whatever evidence you have, it just reeks with hypocrisy. Because on the other hand, we have Turkish government supplying the United States for the past several years with tons, stacks of evidence and documents on this major terrorist, Imam Fethullah Gulen. And what has US been telling Turkey in response to this? And I believe personally, President Trump and Vice President Pence's negotiation has been sabotaged nonstop right from the beginning. We already exposed this 6 months ago through my sources and contacts within the State Department and the CIA. They were sabotaging these negotiations between the Turkish government and President Trump's administration. They actually have been using Pastor Brunson's wife to sabotage this process. While they were making progress on the release of this pastor, they these elements, these deep state elements within the CIA, they were encouraging and propping up Noreen Bronson before all sorts of EU international courts, accusing Turkey of deeds it did not commit, such as torture. There has been no torture, there has been no mistreatment of this pastor in prison. In fact, the Turkish authorities have been protecting his life because you had certain elements within the CIA discussing poisoning and killing Bronson while in Turkish prison so that they could blame the Turkish government and again use it as leverage. In fact, Turkey has been bending backwards, trying to accommodate and repair the relationship with the United States, which Turkey was not the reason that the relationship deteriorated. It started with Obama administration's active participation through the CIA and Fethullah Gulen's network targeting Turkey in this attempted coup. Some of this evidence are being leaked or being published in Turkish media. And as I'm reading, as I'm contacting my sources within the FBI, within the State Department, I no longer give this guy, Pastor Bronson, the benefit of doubt that I used to give a year ago because I had not seen any evidence. But when you look at his link to major operatives such as Graham Fuller, CIA's Graham Fuller, who dates back to Clinton era since 1993. He was involved in Operation Gladio B. He was even directly involved in the Boston Marathon bombing case. Then you look at his communication with high level individuals within the CIA, Pentagon, and US Air Force. Same thing even with his wife, Noreen Bronson. I no longer regard them people who should be given the benefit of doubts. I believe also one of the reasons for this escalated pressure to release Pastor Bronson without trials is the United States, they don't want to see this information coming out in Turkish court because this is going to be highly embarrassing for the US government. It may compromise certain United States CIA assets in the region, whether they are in Turkey or in the region.